Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, we are already in February, which is Heart Month, of course. We want to make note of that.
And of course, connected Valentine's Day, of course, coming up this month.
Soon.
There is lots to get to on Our City Tonight after you watch this.
That's what people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. I know I'm gonna change that soon, when I'm back on top in June.
And joining us now is Mika Barnes, renowned Canadian jazz artist. Welcome to Our City Tonight.
Thank you so much, Lita. Such a pleasure to be with you.
Oh, we're excited to have you with us. Our audience would have first become familiar with your music as a member of the Nylons, of course, the a cappella group that became a global sensation, selling over 3 million albums. How did you, from a young age, you were singing in jazz clubs. How did you make that transition into becoming a part of this, well, I guess it's a jazz group, an R&B, a pop group, the Nylons?
Well, Lita, it was crazy. I was performing, like you say, on my own here in Toronto. And, I love vocal harmony. I grew up loving vocal groups, Manhattan Transfer, the Pointer Sisters, all kinds of, anybody who's singing in a group, I was really attracted to. I never thought that would be my destiny until one day, the Nylons management knocked on my door, and as it happens, they needed a baritone, and that's the range that I was singing in. And they auditioned me, they put me in boot camp, and I'm telling you, it was hard. I had to learn how to sing the harmonies because it's an a cappella group, but also dance, the choreography, and be myself, tell jokes, be a personality. It was a tall order for a young buck. But, I had trained as an actor, and some of the guys came from a musical theater background. So there was a rigor of approach and a kind of an understanding of let's put on the best show we possibly can. Yes, it's music that they're coming to hear, but they're also going to get a theatrical and exciting concert experience. And that was built into the way the Nylons, I think that's why they became so successful so quickly, is that you went to the show and it was hugely entertaining. Plus the music was so satisfying. And that's something I think I really learned a lot from the guys around, how to make a concert evening something that people will carry in their heart for the rest of their lives. And I learned that from the gentlemen, and I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity.
Well, it's wonderful. Well, you went on to, you left the Nylons to have a great, very successful solo career. I want to say, I was reading what the Globe and Mail said about you, that your lyrics are often dryly comic, quick intelligence, mischievous sense of humor, bubbling showbiz savvy. That actually, as I watch your videos, that just comes through so clearly.
Well, I'm so glad, Lita.
It's the twinkle in your eye, definitely. Now, tell us a little bit, your solo career resulted in #1s on the Billboard charts. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Can you believe that? I do feel so blessed because, here I am, a Canadian singer. I had been toiling away in the Los Angeles music scene, with my own group and my own indie records. And we had done very well nationally. I'd been touring, but, we hadn't cracked radio yet. Not really, not nationally. And some remix artists, one of which is Canadian, Barry Harris, sort of were introduced to my music through my management, and they went ballistic. They called me in for a meeting. They said, we want to work with you, but we can't yet because Madonna just called for her remix, and they were really, really, really popular. They were called Thunderpuss, and they rode the crest of house music divas through the 90s and early 2000s to the point where they were working with Christina Aguilera and Whitney Houston, everybody. So I waited my turn, and then one day they said, okay, we're ready. We've got room in our schedule. Come in. We've got the right song. We took that song to #1 because it hit that sort of late night kind of almost had that sort of sexy darkness to it. And I kind of gave it a rock and roll vocal. And people really, there wasn't a lot of men singing in club music at that time. So it went around the world and became this sort of global sensation. And that, like you said, a Billboard #1. Very sweet, lovely to have it on my resume. I'm not a dance artist, so I decided not to like follow it up with a series of club tracks. I felt that would be a trap for me. I'm a grown-up who came up through jazz. So for me, it was like that was a beautiful left turn. Lovely to be a part of that project, and happy when it was time to come back to my home roots. Music.
Wonderful. Well, we're so proud of you being Canadian, part of our country. We're going to end on talking a little bit about, well, your most recent, latest release was Vegas Breeze and End of Love Affair and When in Rome. Those are absolutely amazing. I'm encouraging everybody to go to your website, mikabarnes.com. But tell us a little bit about that experience as we wrap up.
Always my pleasure. But as a gay man, I never really felt like the Vegas showroom was I didn't really get the vibe from Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. I was like, well, those guys were kind of playboys for the 60s and wasn't really my vibe, Great singers, terrific entertainers, Sammy Davis Jr., great entertainer. But I thought if I was going to sort of imagine a Mika Barnes performance in like a classic Vegas showroom, what would the songs be and what would I be talking about? And so we chose a whole lot of songs for the Vegas Breeze album that were like originated by female entertainers or left of center entertainers that maybe weren't as famous as the Rat Packers. Like they still work Vegas a lot, like Peggy Lee and Sarah Vaughan, certainly Nat King Cole and Lena Horne, people whose material I was attracted to. But I felt a little bit more a kinship to the stories in the songs. Like When in Rome, it's basically just the playboy out there giving really fancy excuses for the fact that he's footloose and fancy free. And please don't blame me if I do what the Romans do when in Rome, do as the, it was like, it's just all tongue in cheek. So that lovely review that you mentioned from the Globe and Mail, I'm attracted to witty material, to sophisticated material. And I think that's where the Vegas showroom aesthetic worked for me. Now, these days, we're working towards a brand new album on Alma Records, released through Universal, all in the 60s R&B vibe. Can't wait for the audiences to hear what we have in store.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, we can't wait either, and we hope that the next time you're in Vancouver, we're going to get you here live in our studio, and it's been such a pleasure. Mika Barnes, you are also a vocal coach. I'm encouraging everyone, just go to your website, mikabarnes.com. And read all the other things we couldn't even cover today. It's pretty long and pretty substantial. So thanks for being on Our City Tonight. We are absolutely thrilled to see you and meet you.
A pleasure to be with Lita. I wish you all the best with the show moving forward, and I'll come back and see you guys anytime.
Sounds perfect.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
Well, it's that time again to check out the newest edition of Iconic Concierge magazine. You can find it online and in print. We do a great Our City Tonight column in there, kind of like the print edition of Our City Tonight. So let's get back to the show.
Well, we're here at a place we like to film at occasionally with our kindness ambassador, Dave McCann. It's Sandbar in Creek House. Great restaurant to come check out, great patio. But we're not here to talk food. We're here to talk with one of our good friends who joins us a few times each year to talk about what they can do and his company can do for small business. Great to welcome Ramon Salinas. He is the, good title, Regional Marketing Director for Chambers Plan, BC and Yukon. Happy New Year and welcome back.
Great, thank you. Happy New Year, Jim.
Good, thank you very much. Before we get to the great news, is part of what you wanted to talk about today. Let's talk a bit about Chambers Plan, the Chambers of Commerce Insurance Group Plan, because I want to blow your horn a little bit. One of the things is I'm a member, so full disclosure, but Over the last 50 years, you've grown into Canada's leading group benefits program for companies in teams 1 to 50 in terms of employees. Here's the thing I like. You describe how many, there are 1 million small businesses in Canada, am I right about that? And 200,000 of them here in BC?
Well, yeah, there's well over 1 million small to medium-sized enterprises in Canada.
Yeah.
And close to 200,000 of those in British Columbia. So really that small to medium-sized enterprise, that is the backbone of the economy, not just nationwide, but also here in BC.
I don't think a lot of people know that. I think they think big companies and that's that, but no, you're right. It's the smaller. And just have a little recap, because you haven't been with us since late last summer. A little idea when you talk about small businesses and what you guys help them do.
Yeah, so, when the Chambers Plan first was developed, it really had that small to medium-sized business in mind because it was an underserved market. People always thought that, health and dental plans were for the big corporations and whatnot. So there was a void in the marketplace. And we thought, well, whether you have 2 employees or 10 employees, they still need, and their families still need this, benefits and health and dental coverage. So the program was developed to service that market specifically. And of course, over the last 50 years, it's just grown extraordinarily.
It's interesting too, because one of the things I want to mention again, which we talk about in all your segments, is from an employer standpoint, this really is an investment in your company's future, but your employees' future, isn't it? Because it really does pay off.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's, everything for the business owner. It's a great tool for the recruitment and retention of employees. But even once you have them employed there, having a benefit plan, having them to have access to the program to keep them, if something does happen and they get sick or there's an accident, that they'll have the resources and the coverage to help them get better. But also on the preventative side, it's just all the benefits that they can access in order to keep them active and working efficiently at work.
It's interesting too, you have been around this game a long time to see the transition, let's say, for lack of a better word, of next to salary, this is now number one. Now people are looking for new jobs, so employers have got to offer something concrete and attractive, not just salary.
Oh yes, well over 50% of employees do say that one of the main things they look for when they're seeking employment, or if they're considering changing jobs, is they want to know about the benefit plan right away. And do they offer a benefit plan? And is it a comprehensive benefit plan? So
you and I were talking one night, we were out having a bite to eat, and we were talking about just that sometimes even they'll sacrifice a little bit of salary if there's a great benefit package, right?
Yeah, there was out of Benefits Canada in a Sanofi study, they came up with, I believe it was 63% of employees said that they would change jobs or they would give up to a $5,000 a year annual raise in lieu of having a comprehensive benefit program. So it really does rank high on their priority list for sure.
It's, as I said to you before, it's like employers thinking long game, long term, but it's also employees now thinking long term. It's a new year, and we want to talk about some great news. You mentioned to me the other day, you said, hey, we got to talk about this. This is exciting because I have a lot of friends who would fit into this category, and that is a new guaranteed option for a single person proprietorship. Explain that to our viewers.
Yeah, whether you're a single proprietorship or even if you're incorporated, being alone out there and not having any employees, there's really not a whole lot in the marketplace to service those benefit needs for your company. So Chambers Plan recognized that, and this being really our primary market, we thought, okay, let's what can we do to be able to offer some good benefits, some quality benefits, without that person having to go through any of that medical underwriting and face the possibilities of being declined or having exclusions on the program. So really the goal there was to offer some quality benefits to that single person entity without having to fill out any medical forms. We call it a guaranteed issue.
And do you find, again, because you've been around a long time, for someone that is out there that is a single person proprietorship, let's say, how do you guys entice them in other than just saying what you just said? Because I know when I first met you, I said, a lot of people are intimidated. They immediately dismiss and go, no, can't afford it. And that just isn't the case.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the challenges, is of course trying to entice them and let them know, because we do find that there's, still now, as much as we try to spread the word and do some marketing on that and programs like this to let people know that, hey, even if you're a single person entity out there, please come talk to us. We have something for you. So it is a challenge to get the word out there, but yeah, absolutely, because you're right. That is part of the preconception. People think, oh no, I'm just a one-person entity. There's probably nothing out there. It's going to be too expensive, but that's not the case.
Yeah. One of the things I also wanted to touch on again, it's important for people to realize, is that you really have a lot of, when it comes to interaction with people like you, be it online or in person, there are a whole bunch of different ways. You guys have really continued to evolve quickly and with the changing technology of how you can help people. There's so many things that people can do online with their package. Talk a bit about that.
Yeah, we've gone, like a lot of businesses, we've gone to a lot of the online help with the technology that's available. So everything from signing up for the program, they can sign up with an online application, they can submit all their forms directly online. Once they're set up and running, we have a platform that is both, there's an employer portal and an employee portal. So the employers can go on and they can pull up billing statements, they can add employees, change salaries, do all that wonderful stuff just at the tip of their fingertips. Yeah. And equally for the employees. They can go on there, they can submit claims automatically right from their smartphone instantaneously. They can add a dependent if or change a marital status and all that stuff. So it's really great that it becomes very easy, like with the smartphone, whether you're the employer or the employee, you have access to be able to do all those things that previously you were filling out forms and getting a stamp and all that. So we've eliminated all that.
And it's good you point out about the smartphone, because you're with this kind of thing, especially with the single person option, you really are going after younger people that need to get involved with this. Yes. And the phone is definitely the way to get them to do it, as opposed to paperwork or even using your laptop. Any last thoughts you have? We should mention chamber, singular, chamber, plan.ca. Any last thoughts you want to add for our wonderful viewers?
I just would like to reiterate the point in that no business is too small. Yeah. We've revamped some of our offerings for those, whether it's a single person or even in that 1 to 9 employee category, with guaranteed issue products, simplified tiered bundles for their business. So please don't be intimidated. Come out, go to chamberplan.ca, talk to us. We do have something for small business, no matter what size it is.
And I would say, as someone who's slightly technically challenged, your website is very easy to navigate through. So, hey, Remote Salinas joins us again. It's chamberplan.ca. He is the Regional Marketing Director for Chambers Plan, BC and Yukon Territory, longtime guy in this business. We want to thank you for joining us here at Sandbar.
All right, thank you very much.
This segment was brought to you by the Chambers of Commerce Group Insurance Plan. More than 30,000 small to mid-sized businesses choose the Chambers Plan to protect their employees.
Hi, I hope you're enjoying the show. We just wanted to take a little break here and remind you to check out our website at ourcitytonighttv.com. That's where you can check out extended versions of these segments in podcasts, as well as check out our YouTube channels. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Now back to the show. Bill Pentland is an American writer and actor, primarily known for his work on the sitcom Roseanne and as the first husband of comedian Roseanne Barr. Bill has just released an autobiography this year titled 1 Degree of Separation, 50 Riotous Years as Mr. Roseanne Barr. Welcome, Bill, to Our City Tonight TV.
Thank you, Lita. I'm glad to be here.
Oh,
Thanks
it's great. I devoured your book.
Well, good. Somebody read it.
You're funny. No, I think you're going to get a lot of attention on this. I'm going to laugh right off the bat, and I know you got a good sense of humor, apparently. It appears that your ex-wife beat you to it with 4 books written. Some bad, right?
She did 4.
She did 4. How did you finally decide to get your thoughts down on paper about your life with Roseanne?
Well, I had been planning on writing it for a long time. I actually started in 2016. And then my wife, Becca, took a fall. She broke her pelvis.
Oh.
And we didn't know it at the time. Long story short, she ended up disabled. She lost her job. So I'm her full-time caregiver here in Texas.
Okay. Well, we're glad you wrote the book. I know, I love the fact you worked very, very hard to become a postal worker, and I'm not going to give away too much from the book because I want people to read this. You wanted to support your growing family with Roseanne. How did you finally take that leap? I want you to describe how it felt to take the leap from into the unknown, and you left a good job to help your wife follow her dreams.
Well, she made it pretty easy. She said, you can come along or we'll get a divorce. So I think when you have I think they call that a hostage situation or a gun to the head. Earlier when we had met, we were hippies. We lived up in a mountain town. We wanted to do the commune and the John and Yoko and the whole thing. Money kept running out. We never had enough money. We got married. We had 3 kids right away, bang, bang, bang. So I finally decided to listen to my dad and join the Postal Service in Denver. So that's what I did. I went to the post office for 10 years, and it starts out really rough. You're working weekends, you're working nights, you're working graveyard, you work all your holidays, and it takes several years to finally get to a point where you have weekends off, 8 to 4 a.m. Or 4 p.m. during the day, normal 9 to 5 job. And it had taken 10 years to get to that point. At the time that was happening, Roseanne, after she had our 3 kids, as I say, bang, 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 within 44 months, once she could get out of the house and do some things, because she'd been cooped up for 3 years changing diapers. She writes about that in her book, just being really agoraphobic and in the house. So once my son was old enough to be out of diapers and I was working days, she could go out, and she started doing these new talent nights in Denver at a comedy club called Basins Up. And she did that from 1981 to 1983. She was starting to build up quite a fan base, and I was writing a lot of her material. I wrote a lot of her jokes that were considered some of her best. And then I decided I wanted to do stand-up. So I did the same thing. I went down to Comedy Works in Denver. I did the new talent night. After a couple of tries, I got put on the list as a regular, and I thought we finally had it made. This is sweet. I've got a great government job, bulletproof pension. I can retire in 20 years. This will be good. And then she went out to LA. Our friend who had come through Denver, Louis Anderson, I'm sure you've heard of Louis or know Louis. Yeah. He said if she would come out to the comedy store, he would make sure that Mitzi looked at her. So Mitzi Shore was the queen of making or breaking a comedian's career. And Roseanne was out there, and I knew she was going on that night. I was back home with the kids, just sitting and staring at the phone. This is before cellular phones. And she called me about 1 a.m. Denver time, and I said, how'd it go? And she said, I killed. I said, great. She said, I did all 3 rooms all at once. Mitzi's made me a regular. It's unbelievable. I killed. And I said, so what does that mean about Denver, my postal job? She says, it means you're going to have to move out here. I was really afraid to leave that behind. So I write at length in my book about the jump of finally having to just literally jump off a cliff and hope that the parachute opens. She had much more faith in herself, so go ahead. I'm sorry I stepped on you there.
No worries. No, I love that. And I'm going to jump into the quote that you actually start your book with on the back cover. The villain in this book is fame. If you're looking for sensational dirt on people, you won't find it here. Overnight success is the real monster. Now, I'm going to say, I read the book, I love it. Although there's no serious dirt, as you call it, you still reveal some misdeeds from very well-known people, which is interesting read, but you're fair. What helps you feel justified in not dishing the dirt when you have every right to do so? And perhaps in that process, you could sell more books, of course, because it's human nature to want scandal.
Yeah, I know. We went through, at the time of our divorce, a horrific invasion of privacy from the tabloids. They were all separate entities, and they weren't under one umbrella with Rupert Murdoch. These were all, the Globe, the Star, and the Inquirer were separate entities, and they had spies changing, they're selling stories, that sort of thing. It led to my phone being tapped eventually.
Wow.
And our kids, who we had moved out to California, and they were going to a regular junior high at that point, because I wanted them just to be normal kids.
Yes, you did. And we're not going to give away too much more of the book because I really would encourage all of our viewers to pick this book up. It is amazing. I'm going to end, Bill, here with mentioning that you have a very peaceful life now. You're with your lovely partner, Becca. And just quickly, what would be one thing, if you had to do it all over again, one big life choice that you would change?
I would have gotten a better divorce lawyer.
Okay, well, that's very honest. Yes, I read through some of that there, but you're still a happy gentleman. You're
Peace of mind is more important than anything. And Roseanne and I have 8 beautiful grandkids. I still see her every so often. She's only about 50 miles away. So
wonderful.
We're still in touch. We're not in agreement politically, but we do have our grandkids that are all growing up, and our 3 adult kids that were the basis for the show. You know, we are the template for the Roseanne show. So things are good. But it was taking that leap of faith back in 1986. It was very frightening, but it worked.
It did. And you've got a wonderful life to show for that. We want to thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Encouraging Bill Pentland, who wrote 1 Degree of Separation, 50 Riotous Years as Mr. Roseanne Barr. And you can find this book on Amazon, right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
On Amazon.
Great. Thanks, Bill, for joining us. And I look forward to the next book.
Thank you, Lita. I appreciate having me on. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks.
This segment was brought to you by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, that was a lot of fun, Jim. And again, mentioning Heart Month. Did you get me any chocolate this month?
Oh, I've got some chocolates coming your way, that's for sure.
I bet you
It's
don't.
part of her contract with the show. Anyway, we're in February already. Thank you for watching all through January and over the last 11 years. I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
Visit ourcitytonighttv.com for all the latest episodes, segments, and our new podcast. And please be sure to like and subscribe.
The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.